Well, good evening all. Here we go, second attempt. Let's see if everything works as it's supposed to do tonight. Hope you're all doing well. Let's just go. I'm just going to play. This is a bit of Shadugi. There we go, a little bit of Shadugi. And a very good evening to you all. Who we got? Good evening, Mick, Mandy, John, James, Michael, Colin. It's great to see so many of you on again. Apologies for last night's complete mess, but hopefully we're going to be good. I've completely rebooted my machine. Everything's been deleted, completely started again, and I've thrown away the wireless connection and gone wired tonight. So fingers crossed, touch wood. Not sure how long I'm going to do tonight, but we'll see. Hopefully things are going to be good. But I hope you've all had a lovely day. Let's do this little song that I think I was going to do last night before things started breaking. There's a little song called Peace Pipe. A little bit of peace pipe. It's fabulous to see so many of you still tuning in. It really is wonderful. But some of your comments do make me smile. Right, it's not quite midnight, but for the purpose of this next song, it may as well be. Don't mention the hair. I know what you mean. Look at it. I've put gel in it again today, but I don't know why I bother really, because it's getting ridiculously long, but never mind. It's all part of the lockdown fun, isn't it? I think it's fun, something like that. Anyway, bit of midnight. There we go, a little bit of midnight. Oh, it's all good fun, isn't it? Eh? I don't know about Elvis style. Elvis maybe after he died, one or the other. But it's so long, it's so heavy as well. But oh, do you know what? That's one thing I'm missing. Garden. I live in a flat, and it's so frustrating. All this lovely weather. I do sit out on the balcony very occasionally, but I have a pigeon problem at the moment, so I tend not to bother, but one day. Anyway, here's a bit of Kontiki. dear, there we go. It's, someone said the mic's a little bit too low again. Surely not. Let's try and turn it up a little bit. How's that? Is that any better? It's a great song, isn't it? Right, let's do Wednesday night at the Reynolds household. It doesn't get much better than that, does it, eh? It's a brilliant song. But, evening, Dale. Hope you're good. Tom, it's not one I know, unfortunately. No, that's a complete new one on me. But send me a link. I'll certainly have a look. Right, a couple of requests for this one, so I better do it, I suppose. This is Sleepwalk. we go. A little bit of sleepwalk there. Cliff, am I self-taught? Yeah, pretty much. I did have a couple of lessons once, a long time ago. But yes, most of it is just tabs and listening to the songs and sort of working them out, really. But I know a little bit of theory, but theory is probably my weakest point. I should really know a little bit more by now, but there we go. Evening, Philip. Hope you're good. This has got a plain third string on this one. In fact, all of my guitars got plain thirds because they're all quite thin strings. This has got 11s, I think, 10s, something like that. I think they're 11s actually, and all the others are 10s. So, but they're all plain thirds. I haven't had a wound thirds for a long time, but to be honest, I never really noticed much difference really, but there we go. Right, I'm going to do this one straight off because I think I was going to do this one about this time last night and when my system collapsed. So this is The Savage. There we go, a little bit of The Savage. Oh, I love that song. It's just a great track, isn't it? I mean, it's just everything about that, the tempo and everything. It's just a brilliant song. But John and Mandy, I'm getting really concerned by your conversations on here. I really am. Deary me, you two do make me chuckle. Anyway, while we're in a speedy along sort of mood, let's do a little bit of shindig. There we go. Right, is the volume of the mic really low? Because I can try and move it. How is it in comparison to the rest of everything that's going on? Let's see if I can turn this little mic up a little bit more. No, I can't. So that's at 100%. So I can't. Let's try and turn it up somewhere else. That's the one. Let's have a look. What have we got? Talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. I'll be with you in a minute. Right, let's try and turn this up a little bit. Right, how's that? Is that any better? No? Excellent. Right, I'm going to do this next song because I see my good friend Mr. Lovelock's just come on, and it's young Lauren's 12th birthday today. So if we can all wish young Lauren a very happy birthday. I won't sing it, but happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Lauren, happy birthday to you. Hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray. There we go. It's this is her song, Futsaba. There we go, a little bit of foot tapper, and hope you enjoyed that. Right, let's have a quick look. What do we got? Some of the comments. Yes, Stephen. Yes, I do only play through headphones in the flat because this is my front room. I've got neighbours above, neighbours below, neighbours there, and neighbours there. So yeah, it's. I could probably get away with an amp a little bit turned on maybe, but most of the time it's just easier to put the headphones on and shut it all out, and that's it. But there we go. Right, Tom, yes, absolutely, I can do that. Do that for you. A little bit of albatross. But remember, you've all got to join in on this, and remember that special part. This isn't just food. This is M&S food. But I think we'll change it tonight. This isn't just lockdown. This is guitar lockdown. That'll do. That's a bit of albatross. There we go, a little bit of albatross from Fleetwood Mac, I think originally done that, but obviously the Shad's done a version in the 80s, I think, something along that sort of period. But evening, Karen. Yes, we are still in lockdown at the moment, unless you're Dominic Cummings, in which case you can do what you like. But no, we're they're starting to relax things a little bit over here, but it's still scary times at the moment. Personally, I'm petrified to even go out of the flat, but it's tough. I must admit, it's been a tough nine weeks now, but there we go. Tommy, yes, what you're hearing, basically, I have the iPad and the guitar and everything all going into a mixer, and then the mixer I'm hearing through my headphones, and then the USB is going out into the computer, into the internet. So I'm hearing, hopefully, what you're hearing. So you should get a rough sort of balance of everything going on. But I will see if I can do Kingston Town in a little while, Josh, because I've had to reboot my machine today, so it's I've lost a lot of things. But hopefully I've still got the tabs floating around for that to hand. But Karen, yes, I have got a balcony, but I've got a pigeon problem at the moment. There's stacks of pigeons always on it, and it's horrendous. But never mind. Right, yep, had a few requests for this, so here we go. This is the song that started it all off. There we go, the song that started it all off, 1960. Hard to believe, isn't it? But incredible. I don't do any Spotniks, unfortunately. I should do, but wow, we've got 90 on at the moment already. That's incredible, considering this should have been last night. But I thought you'd have all got bored and gone off to bed. But I don't know about that, Josh. It's a flat tour. It's not much for a flat. It's literally, I've got, this is my dining room table that my computer and everything's set up on at the moment, and that's it. It's that's about as exciting as it gets, really. If you could see the other side of this camera, it wouldn't look good. It's just a mess of wires and things, but it does the job at the moment. So it's Eden, Annie, hope you're good. It's fabulous to see you all. Let's do this little Beatles track now. So I mentioned earlier on about the about COVID and stuff. It's scary times at the moment. My sister-in-law's brother passed away from it a few weeks ago now, at the age of 54, I think, and completely healthy. And it's concerning at 54 years old. had a lot of life still to live, and so it's scary times, but this is dedication to him. This is a bit of In My Life. Beautiful song, In My Life by the Beatles. But yes, it is really scary times at the moment, and yes, it often preys on my mind. Every time I go out the flat door, it's on my mind. You sort of, when you're indoors, it's sort of your own little inner sanctum as such, but you know, it's difficult times. But pleased for you, Colin. That's wonderful news. Josh, yes, I do still go to guitar shops. Not too often. I certainly haven't been since lockdowns happened, but I don't go to guitar shops as much as I used to anymore because, to be honest, a lot of I'm quite lucky where we are in Romford. I've got DV247. I've got Professional Music Technology. I've got a couple of other guitar-ish sort of shops around in the local area, and so I'm quite lucky really, but to be honest I tend not to go to any of them because where the things I buy tend to be sort of specific stuff, and you know, a lot of the stuff isn't available, and it's just easier to buy online these days. It really is. You know, you've got 14 days or whatever. Sometimes there's other places that do it cheaper, so it's yes, it's really depends. Really depends what I'm doing. But Mick, I don't know about that, to be honest. Will I still be doing live streams when lockdown finishes? I don't know. It depends if there's still a call for it, really. I must admit, I thought you'd have all been bored of it by now, and but you're still here, so. But no, Bill, I'm in Romford. So you're Southend. Funnily enough, I go to the Southend Shadows Guitar Club last Tuesday of the month at the Echo Sports and Social Club. Anyone is local to Southend, once lockdown and everything's over, we can get back down there again. But yes, it's Keith. Yes, I do only use a few of the G3X patches. There is a reason for that. I just happen to like the sound that particular patches produce. That was my big issue with the Hall & Collins. I had the Hall & Collins with 40, 50 patches, whatever there was, and I only really used about 5. I used the foot tapper patch, which is that sort of tripling echo. I use that for quite a lot of things. The Argentina patch, which is a later sort of RE301 type patch, I use that quite a lot. Obviously there's the Apache patch, the Wonderful Land patch, the Atlantis patch, and I suppose the Rise and Fall of Flinklebunt patch. They're the only ones I really tend to use specifically. Whenever I do gigs, a lot of the time I just stick to the same patch. I mean, this one is the Argentina patch, which is an RE301, and it just has a, you know, I don't really, it just gives a great sort of airy sound around it. It's the one I use for Apache when I do it on here. It's not necessarily the correct patch, but it doesn't matter too much. It's all part of the fun of it. But splendid, Bill. Yes, the Echo Club is it's all the Echo actual parts now gone, as I'm sure you're well aware. But the little Echo Club, I've been going there for about 15 years now. It's incredible. John, I have no idea how long the waiting time is to buy a TVS3. To be honest, I've never dealt with the guys at TVS3 really. I know of Paul, Rossiter, and Spike, but I bought my TVS3 second hand from someone that had had it a long time. I've never really had much involvement with the guys at TVS. I know they're very intelligent. I love watching their videos. I watch their videos. They did 4 on that Sound of the Shadows, about half an hour long each, and I often watch them just for something to do. But no, I don't play any rhythm guitar really, Shadow stuff. I may occasionally do a little bit if I go up to one of the guitar clubs or something like that. But no, to be honest, my friend Stuart, he plays rhythm guitar in my band, and he's just such a good rhythm guitar player. It just works really well. He does the rhythm, I play lead, and that's it. But yes, Bruce Welch's contribution should never be underestimated. He has got the quickest right hand I've ever seen. But and I mean, the Savage, you've only got to listen to the Savage, Geronimo, things like that. His rhythm guitar playing is incredible. The Sand Grounders, they don't ring a bell, Andrew, unfortunately, but you know, if you've got a link, I'll certainly like to check them out. So yeah, that'd be wonderful. I don't use the Ace Tone anymore, David. A friend of mine was after it, and so I sold it to him, basically. I've been quite consistent for a long time now with the Zoom G3X and the Boss Katana. Which is exactly what I'm playing through here, and it's exactly the same gear that I'd use if I was doing a smallish gig. If I was doing any recording, most of the time if I'm recording my YouTube videos and stuff like that, I do them here, but using the same stuff. But Josh, I've had the band about coming up to 5 years now, the Wannabe Shadows. We started as a Shadows type band, quickly realised we couldn't hold an audience for 2 hours just doing instrumentals. We had a singer join us. He left after a couple of years, and now we've got another singer who's really good, got great frontman skills and stuff, and yeah, he's a great singer, and yeah, the band just works really, really well. Can't wait to get back out and gigging again. But are there any pickup changes when playing Apache? No, it's all on the bridge pickup. That's certainly how I do it anyway. It's Dreas, lovely to hope that's your name and I've pronounced that correctly. Lovely to hear from you. Hope you're really, really good. Lenny Clerwell songs are wonderful. I've only done a couple of his, John, but I do want to do some more Lenny Clerwell songs. Write some wonderful pieces. But Did I ever gig with a Strat, a Copycat Echo and a Vox AC30? No, I didn't. I did gig a couple of times with a Strat, a Miazzi Echo and a Vox or a Vox Short Tom Echo and a Vox AC30, and it was brilliant, wonderful sound. But then my Miazzi broke and had to be repaired, and yeah, that's it pretty much. They're just a great piece of kit, but they're just not very reliable unless they're really looked after all the time and stuff. So what else we got? This is my Alan Brayson Stratocaster, John. It's similar to a 56 custom shop, but it's got lock-in machine heads, Spurzels. It's got 22 fretboard, Wilkinson trem. It's got Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickups, and it's just it's a nice guitar. It's got a pushing tremolo arm, which is a bit different from my liking normally, but it's great. It stays exactly where it is. The only annoying thing is you get a little bit of that sound, which is really annoying when you move it, but it's better with it, I suppose. Mick, the pedal on my G3X, you mean the volume pedal, I take it? Yes, I do if I'm playing some of the slower stuff like Cavatina, Don't Play, Cry For Me Argentina, those sort of songs. I love the volume pedal, it's my favourite thing. There is nothing better than that. It just sounds brilliant, doesn't it? But there we go. Right, you all seem to want Kingston Town tonight for some reason. So, have I got it, is the big question. That's a very good question. So this computer has been completely wiped and reset. So, but it looks like you might be in luck. I might have it. But yes, so let's do it. Let's do a little bit of Kingston Town for all of you that requested it. Here we go. There we go, a little bit of Kingston Town. Oh, I thought I'd crash the computer again then. Oh, thank heavens for that. Literally, I see a little pop-up thing come up on this screen and the heart just stops. But, let's have a look. Oh, Moonlight Shadow. Do you know what, John? I've said it before, if I ever got to play that song, I'd give up playing guitar, because I would never ever have to... I'd never ever want to play guitar again, because it's just brilliant. Hank's playing on that song was the best it was ever be, in my opinion. But who have we got? Yes, Philip, that is correct. It is a pushing trem arm, so it's just where the metal is rubbing against each other, and it is really annoying. But it's so annoying. But never mind. Oh, Cliff, honestly, it is a nightmare sometimes. Some of the songs I play them over and over and over again, and then I try and record them for YouTube, and it all goes horribly wrong, and it frustrates me because I do it all on my own. I do my own video editing, I do my own camera, I do all the sound and everything. It's really frustrating sometimes to actually set everything and get it all, and then you press record and then you do it, and then you mess it up halfway through, and then you've got to stop, go back, and it can normally take me, depending on how involved the song is. If it's quite straightforward, probably 3 hours per song. If it's a lot more involved, then I can be playing the song for a good few days, just trying to get the hang of it before I then actually play it on YouTube. But so Cliff, no, I've never visited the South Coast Shadows Club, but I have visited Surrey a couple of times. I used to go down the Surrey Club every couple of months, but I was actually due to go down there the last one before it all got cancelled with everything going on. But it is a nice club, the Surrey Club. I'm trying to think what my favourite clubs are, actually. Southend is my long-term club, I suppose. The one I've been to a lot. The Burnham on Crouch Guitar Club is also great. The one in Kent is also good. Warwick's probably my favourite. I do love the Warwick Club. But then there's the one down in Devon and Cornwall, which is also a wonderful guitar club. There's so many great guitar clubs for the Shadows stuff, and it's got to be unique in the sense the Shadows music. There's no Beatles clubs as far as I know all over the country and all over the world, but there is Shadows clubs, and I think in that sense they've got to be unique. But Colin, the Kinman HVS pickups I have had a couple of times, and I just find them a little bit. They're quite mellow. They don't quite sound like a Strat. I suppose you probably could if you EQ'd them properly and stuff. But they're not very. They're quite warm sounding pickup. These are Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickups. I've never used them before. They just happened to be what this guitar had when I bought it, and I've not changed anything on this guitar at all other than the pick guard, because it had a 3-ply pick guard, which to me doesn't look right. If it's a Fiesta Red maple neck, it should have a single ply pick guard, so that's what I changed it to. But if I could afford any guitar, which I think you can, I wish I could. The guitar that I do really want, John, and I will get one day, is a Hank Marvin signature or autograph model. It's basically the same as this, but it's got the 2-post trem on here, and it's got graphite nut locking tuners. It's just the guitar that I remember seeing on the back of the brochure in 1997 when I went to see Hank. It was on all the tour programs and everything, and it's just a guitar I've always wanted, but they're quite rare. I think they made about 140 of them, and unfortunately they are really expensive, and yeah, but one day, you never know, I might end up with one day. Josh, yes, I do have a car. I do drive pretty much all over the UK a lot of the time when lockdown isn't on for gigs and stuff. Only tail end of last year I was down in Bristol one weekend, I was in Kent the next, and I was up sort of Luton way again, so I do get around quite a bit. I am using a Zoom G3X program with the Hall's Echoes patches, and it's brilliant. Yes, not. I've seen them cheaper than that, Colin, to be honest, but I've seen ones for about 2,500-3,000, which I think is probably about where they should be. But you know, some people are asking for more money than that, but they're just, you know, whether I'll end up with one day remains to be seen. But if I ever do, I'll let you know, because it is the guitar I've always wanted. Ah, Phil, lovely to hear from you. Hope you're good. It's yes, I know what you mean about the hair there, Phil. It's as you can see, it's not quite as bad once it's got some gel in it, but it looks horrendous without gel. My mother this morning, when I was on talking to her on the thing, she thought I was on hard times because I looked really bad. But anyway, let's play a song. Shall we do? What shall we do? Theme for Young Lovers. Let's do it. Go, bit of theme for young lovers there. Yes, I suppose I should mention that all of you people that keep requesting Moonlight Shadow from me, Phil, who is on here at the moment, Random275, does the best version of Moonlight Shadow, so check it out on YouTube because it is absolutely brilliant. But Philip, the headphones I use are studio type headphones. They give a sort of flat response. They are the Shure SRH 840s, I think they were about £85–90, something like that. But yes, they're just, you know, they do really well. I do have a pair of Mackie CR3 monitors, but again, living in a flat, I can't have things too loud. So these do just a great job. The only thing I don't like about them, and it really bugs me, is this really annoying curly lead. As you can probably tell, it is really annoying. It gets stuck on everything, and yeah, it's not very good, but it does the job. What have we got? No, I wasn't going to be on tonight. Angie and Paul and Albert. Yes, it's. I was on last night. I had major problems with the computer. It literally kept cutting out all the USB ports, and obviously everything was connected through the USB ports, the camera and everything, so it just kept crashing. So today, while I had some time, I completely destroyed the computer, deleted everything off it, completely reset it, fresh install of Windows, and I also done away with my wireless adapter and ran a connection for the internet straight to my router. The only problem is my router's all the way over there, and I've got the cable running right across the room, so it's a good thing it's only me here really. But yeah, I think this is the offending article, Mr. Lovelock. This TP-Link wireless card thing, it just seems to have a problem. I don't know what's going on, but it is the computer you built me, and it seems to be working fine at the moment. We're an hour and 10 in, so I think it's this wireless adapter which is probably going to get thrown in the bin, but never mind, all good fun. Tackridge, I use numerous guitars depending on what mood I'm in. If I'm playing live, I'll use my Zoom G3X and either my Boss Katana or my Vox AC30. If I'm playing here, it could be that same rig. If I'm recording, I might not use the Katana, and I might actually use the bias effects, which is on the computer software, and that gives me quite a good sound. I did that on my last video, so yes, it's all good fun. Stephen, lovely to hear from you. I may have given you some wrong information there, Stephen. The G3XN is the new model of that Zoom, and unfortunately the patches that the Hall's Echo patches only work on the older unit, which is the Zoom G3X, not the XN. You can get Echo patches from Art Deco on eBay, but the backing tracks, in terms of that, they come from a variety of places. I use Leo's Den for CDs and stuff. I'll put a link somewhere. In fact, I'll type a little link. My computer's going to work. Won't let me type. Oh yeah, no, there we go. leosden.co.uk, I think is the correct. So yes, it's I tend to get them from there. There's also Strat Tracks from my good friend Mr. Ernie Lamprell. He does them as well. There's loads of places that do them, but there's also Gore and Tangring's website, which has free backing tracks, and was a good source of information and tabs and stuff for me when I first started playing years ago. So I'll put a link to that there as well. How often do I tune my Strat when playing live? It depends really on the Strat and the conditions, really. The Squier Simon Nil Strat I barely touch. I'll probably tune it twice in a gig, if that. I'll just double check it sometimes just to be sure, but most of the time it's fine. Depends if it's a hot night, and you know, it might be a bit of a problem, but yes, of course, Roger Alcock's done some great backing tracks. I use his as well. I haven't got a link, the website for his, but if anyone wants to link it down below, that would be wonderful. But in the meantime, let's do a little bit of Heartbeats. There we go, fabulous bit of Heartbeat. But Josh, yes, I do know Randoms275, young Mr. Phil McGarrick. We've met a couple of times and had a few conversations. But I think myself, I'm trying to think of some of the people that have been doing it for quite a long time now. There was Phil, was probably the first one. There was Burns Ernst, a long time ago. He still does a lot of songs. There's Dave Monk, my good friend, Mr. Monk. There's quite a few. There's a few of us still floating around. I mean, I've been doing this 10 years now, 10, 11 years, something like that, playing this stuff and doing YouTube. But I think Phil's probably slightly longer. But Phil was ahead of the game when I started. He really set the bar for the standards of playing and the video quality and everything. So I've learnt a lot from Mr. McGarrick. Let's have a quick look. What have we got? Dear me, it's good fun. Yes, I certainly can play Ramon. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Lovely to see you. Hope you're good. Gulia. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so I really do apologise. I struggle with English a lot of the time, but there we go. Yes, the Simon Neil Strat. There was one on eBay not all that long ago in the UK, and I'm surprised it didn't sell. I think it was about £250, something like that. The best guitar I have. Yes, John. Probably Burns Ernst has probably got the most videos. He was quite out in front in terms of subscribers and stuff when we certainly got started. He had about 40 or 50,000 subscribers for a long time, and he was well out in front. I think Dave's got the most at the moment. I think Dave's at 250,000. Phil's just gone over 100,000. Jeffers, of course, I think he's on 180,000 last time I saw. So yes, let's do a bit of dance on, because I think I just saw someone request that one. So let's do that one. Here we go, bit of dance on. go, bit of dance on. But I saw Philip. I often get copyright claims from YouTube. It doesn't necessarily mean they stop the videos. It just means that they take all the any ad revenue or anything like that. It's a little bit weird actually, because it's frustrating, because when I do these sort of things, obviously a lot of the time it's me talking, so I only do, there's not quite as many songs probably as there should be, but they take all the ad revenue and everything for this particular session. They will take it and give it to the people that make music, which is, I don't have too much of an issue with, but some of the copyright I've had have actually gone to people who have used UB Hank backing tracks and made their own albums. So they're getting the copyright or the money for a song that they haven't written. I don't really understand it, but it's weird. But yes, I know what you mean there, Labrador. Funny you mention that. I've got a couple of tape echo boxes at the moment. I've got a Vox Short Tom Echo, and I've also got an ESE Echomatic, and I've seen those go for 1,500. I've seen some go for over £2,000 before. So, but there we go. Good evening, Sarah. Hope you're good. I'm assuming you're a friend of Mandy's. But yes, I probably should do Wind Beneath My Wings, because I haven't done that for a little while. Some of you may know, those of you who don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. I was on Britain's Got Talent in 2014, and one of the things I had to do, they said to me, you can only play a song maximum of 2 minutes long, that's all you've got. And I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? How do you get a song less than 2 minutes? And I had a couple of suggestions of songs I was going to do. I actually done Bright Eyes for my original audition before I went on the TV programme, and it was a song I wanted to do for my wonderful dad. It was a song that became sort of part of his life story, really, and thankfully I was lucky. A friend of mine, John, who's also got his own channel on here, he created this backing track particularly for me, and it was just over 2 minutes long for Wind Beneath My Wings. So this is unique to me in that this is thanks to John. I think it's John Stallard was his name. Does a lot of Ian McCutcheon videos and stuff like that. And yes, so this is the song that I played on Britain's Got Talent in 2014. There we go. The beautiful song. So it was a song that means a lot to me. So I have no regrets. It probably wasn't the best song to do on Britain's Got Talent, but never mind. It was my dear old dad, and that was the most important thing. But Paul, no, I haven't. Magitech Echo boxes. No, to be honest, I thought I knew of most of them actually these days, but no, not that one, unfortunately. But I just saw a comment from Christopher that's now gone, so I don't know what. Yes, it is, unfortunately, Labrador. It's if you type into YouTube Steve Reynolds Britain's Got Talent, it was an horrendous audition, I'm not going to lie. I was literally chatting to... I was backstage. I was backstage while there was a lady on performing just before me, and she had the most amazing voice, and she came on and sang this song, and they buzzed her, and I was just stood there in disbelief because she was brilliant. And but I went up, I spoke to Ant and Dec just before I went on, and they literally put me out there along with my amplifier and my echo box, and I just, there was no sound check or anything. It was just plug in, set something up and play. So it wasn't the highlight of my career, but it was good fun. And Simon Cowell choked on a mint while I was performing. In fact, there was quite a line in one of the videos, because I was actually on Britain's Got Talent 1 week, and then about 5 weeks later I was on Britain's Got More Talent with Stephen Mulhern, and that was actually better. I was on there for about 10 minutes on that one, and there was quite a scene actually where so David Williams actually gave Simon Cowell the Heimlich manoeuvre because he was choking on a mint, and there was a moment where Simon Cowell turned around to him and said, "If you were having dinner with your wife, would you put on the Steve Reynolds album?" And David then made a comment along the lines of, "I'd save it for when we were making love later." And then Simon Cowell said it wouldn't last very long then, and things like that. But it was good fun. But Christopher, I just used the bass bias thing, whatever the cheapest one was. I think it was about £39, something like that. Might have been slightly more than that, but it was the bass bias. I just used the generic tape echo, generic Vox AC30 that they have on there, and a bit of reverb. But there's a couple of patches I did create on there under Shadow Sound, so if you go on there you'll probably find me. But Graham, take care, look after yourself. Tackridge, any good resources or recommendations for learning shadow songs? The only thing I can really suggest is watching some of the videos on here. Phil McGarrick does some brilliant guitar tabs that you can slow on YouTube. You can slow the videos down and you can work out what's going on. That's really helpful. I wouldn't go on again, no, to be honest. I did feel a little bit cheated with everything going on, but it was such a setup. It was ridiculous, really. It's not what they portray it to be on the television. When I think it was Susan Boyle first came out and started singing, and everyone was surprised. They knew exactly what was going on because they'd already seen her in a previous audition. So I'll give you a bit of a rundown of my audition. I did an initial audition. I signed up on the internet, and it was at the Emirates Stadium. And I got taken up to this little room in the corporate box type thing, and there was a couple of producers in there, and I walked in, said my name and details, and played Bright Eyes through this little amplifier with a little backing track. And they said, "Oh yeah, well, that's quite good, but we'll put you through to the next stage." So I had to then go downstairs, fill in a load of forms. From there, I then went on to they go downstairs and they basically put a camera in front of me, and I just played the same thing again, and they filmed it. And then that was it. And they said to me, if you hear from us, anytime soon, then you'll be on the show. But if you don't, then you haven't made it any further. So okay, fair enough. That's sort of sort of there we go. And then about 3 months later, I think between Christmas and New Year, something like that, I got a phone call from one of the producers, said I'd been shortlisted to appear on the show, and was I interested in, could they take some more information from me? So I gave them a load more information. They were asking all about my history, my upbringing, that sort of stuff. And they said, yeah, no worries, we'll call you back if you make it through to the next round. And then about 2 days later, I think they called me and said, yeah, you've got an audition to actually be on the show. And the audition was in February, I think, in February 2014, and it didn't go out on air until April, but it was at the Birmingham ICC. I arrived at the Birmingham ICC about 8 o'clock in the morning, had to be there for 9 o'clock, and I was there from 9 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the evening in various interviews, photo shoots. Really surreal experience. As I say, it's not what you see on telly. When you see people queuing up and all of that, that's all at this audition. So a lot of the people you're seeing there have already been through an audition already, and a lot of them are actually people that they've put in there who are other acts just to make it all sort of look as though it's quite busy. But yes, it's not what you think it is. But it was good fun. Well, I'll never forget one of the interviews. A lady was going through the interviews with me, and she said, so where do you see yourself in 10 years time? And I said, well, I'd like to have had an album perhaps, and met some of my heroes. I'd met Hank and Cliff and all of that. And she said, no, you've got to be bigger than that. You've got to be bigger and bolder than that. You're going to be on doing sellout world tours and the guitar equivalent of Justin Bieber and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind. But it was what it was. But good fun. John, Britain's Got More Talent clip was on YouTube, but I don't know if they've taken it down now. It's really frustrating because my ex-partner is actually in the clip. They made a bit of a thing with that. I had my blue bracing guitar at the time, and they basically had... I was talking to Stephen Mulhern, and he was asking me about the guitar, and he sort of took the rise a bit. It was saying, it's... boring, that sort of thing. And when I said about how much it cost me, they said about, was you married or whatever, and I mentioned my partner at the time, and so they brought her in, and she was on it, and yes, it was quite a strange experience. But there we go. Evening, Karen, all the way from California. Hope you're good. Yes, Stephen, you're not the first person that I've heard that from as well. There was actually a guy on just after me who was the world record onion eater, apparently, and it was quite strange because he was backstage holding this pint of milk, and I was a little bit like, well, what's your talent, sort of thing. And it turned out he was a world record onion eater. He could eat a whole onion in less than 50 seconds or something like that. And someone had beaten him a couple of weeks before, so they actually brought him on. He didn't have to go through the audition or anything. They brought him on to do that, and he done it in something. I think it was like over a minute this time. But so someone had well and truly beaten him in this onion thing. But the milk was to obviously calm the acid of the onion. So I learnt something new that day. Anyway, chatted a lot on that little section. But I know you don't mind, because I think a lot of you like hearing stories and stuff. So no, Paul, I had a new PC ordered, but I think I fixed this one. I think it was my wireless adapter that's playing up, so I've thrown that away and gone wired into the modem direct. So, and touch wood, hour and 36 minutes in, seems to be working okay. So anyway, this is my dear old dad's favourite. This is Wonderful Land. there we go. A little bit of Wonderful Land. But beautiful, beautiful song. But yes, Philip, I must admit, I'd never thought of wired because it always worked fine. But for some reason, all of a sudden, this little wireless adapter kept crashing all my USB ports. Well, I think it was that. It's certainly not caused many problems tonight. But it would literally just disconnect from the internet. My camera would disconnect and everything. But you know, it's working. It's working now. So there we go. No, not really. I wasn't really influenced by Scotty Moore, really. It was Hank was my number one sort of influence. I do like guitar players in general. I like Carlos Santana, that sort of thing, really. I do have quite an eclectic taste in music. I love PRS guitars. I love Fender guitars. But no, Ernest, this is a Alan Brayson Stratocaster. It looks like a Fender and is as good as a Fender, but it's not. It's an Alan Brayson, but Fender at about a third of the cost. But, yes, it's a nice guitar actually. It's got a very twangy sort of sound. The Squire's a lot more mellow, but I think it's got heavier strings than this. I think it's got 11s on, whereas these are 10s. But this has got much more treble bite, I suppose, to it. But I'm just going to go back to the front because I'm going to do Telstar. love the way the echo tail's on there. It's just brilliant. Yes, it was, of course, Telstar. That's got loads and loads of questions. Let's go right up at the top. John, it is actually sold, this guitar. It's actually going on to a guy, but to be honest, I bought it just on a bit of a whim. I didn't really need it. Didn't really. It's a great guitar, but I always use my. I tend to use the Squire Simon Neil Strat a lot of the time. I also have the blue Brayson. I've also got my American Standard guitar, but so I don't really need another Strat. I just bought it because it was cheap, and someone made me an offer. So once lockdown's over, hopefully it's going. But I thought I'd dig it out and give it a bit of an airing. But you're all very, very kind. Blue Sky, Blue Sea, Blue Me. I'm going to do that one. I definitely am going to do that one at some point. Not tonight, but I'm going to do it. Yes, Alan is based in North Tyneside. He's retired now. He doesn't build any guitars at all. But Phil McGarrick's guitar, or one of his guitars, is made by Alan. I've got two by Alan. At the moment, my blue one that I used on Britain's Got Talent was made by Alan. He just makes great guitars, and it's a shame because I really would have bought another one. I was actually after getting a guitar painted slightly different and doing some different things with it, but yes, unfortunately he doesn't make guitars at all anymore, which is a real shame because he's a real talent. But what have we got here? We've got David. I'm using a Zoom G3X programmed with Hall's Echo patches, not to be confused with the G3XN, because the G3XN doesn't accept the patches. It's a different unit. It's a newer one. The G3X is a couple of years old now, but there we go. My next purchase, Paul, if one ever came up, would be a Fender Hank Marvin signature guitar. If one ever came up, but they don't. They tend to be quite expensive when they do. So it would probably, my next guitar will probably be a PRS of some sort. I'm not sure. There's a beautiful PRS at the moment, but it's a limited edition. It's a hollow body with 3 pickups, and it's in a blue sort of colour, but it's about £4,000, and it's gorgeous. But I could never justify spending that much money on a guitar. But there we go. Oh, that's a tough question. Who's better, the Ventures or the Shadows? Oh, I wouldn't like to even hesitate to make a... I couldn't even make a comment on that. I think, in my opinion, the Shadows sound grabs me, whereas the Ventures sound doesn't in quite the same way. But, you know, the Ventures were massive in America. The Shadows were massive in the UK. It's swings and roundabouts. I know they have a lot of respect for each other, and so yeah, I wouldn't. Thanks very much, Karen. Thank you for joining us. I think I've already played Saturday Night in the Duck Pond. I'm sure I have. I mean, I can play it again if you really want to, but I know you all seem to like this one. You've got a couple of tracks that you all like, but Paul Anderton's. I went there coming back from Shadow Mania a couple of years ago, and it's brilliant place. I actually ran into Rory and Matt Hornby in Brighton Seafront at the mini show when I was down there, and but yeah, Anderton's do amazing guitars. They're just a great shop. I think they've got the whole thing of this current video YouTube thing just down to a T. They've really got the market cornered, and they're doing really well as a result of it. So yes, I will do it again for you all. But David, no, I'm not playing for a PA at the moment. I'm using the Strat into the Zoom G3X, into the Boss Katana, into a Behringer Xenix 502 Echo interface, which then goes into the computer, and that's what you're hearing. It's completely silent in here, bar my normal talking voice. So yes, go on then, let's do it. Saturday night at the or Wednesday night at the Reynolds household. There we go, Saturday nights at the Duck Pond. Beautiful, beautiful song. Richard Soir Serenade. I certainly can't play it. I'm not even sure I know it. Is that one Robbie's done by any chance? Might be one that he's done it. He's another player that inspires me quite a lot. There's a few on YouTube that inspire me. That's Colin Price-Jones from the Rapiers inspired me many, many years ago. In fact, he was the first person I saw playing a sort of Shadows type sound and everything. I saw him at Clacton, Prince's Theatre in Clacton, I think it was. And then I used to see the Rapiers at the Blake Hall Car Show every summer. And they got me hooked, basically, the Rapiers. And I just find them absolutely brilliant. Night Jules, look after yourself. Marty, would you ever consider buying a Gibson? I have had a Gibson. I had a Les Paul. I didn't really like it much. It was too heavy and just didn't really suit me. But I do like the new. They do a double cut sort of Gibson with what looks like P90 pickups. Which look really, really nice, and but I suppose in the Gibson SG, I like the look of those. I like they're quite thin. They've got quite nice necks, so I'd probably go for an SG if I was buying one personally. But yes, Colin is the master of Shadows sounds. If anyone doesn't know of the Rapiers, Google them, check them out. Colin has the nearest I've ever heard. I've been to see the Rapiers a few times. Every time I watch the Rapiers, I want to come home and sell all my gear and give up, because they are that good. feel honoured to call some of them friends actually. So and I've had the real honour of having Nathan from the Rapiers, used to be the bass player in the Rapiers, actually play with my band a couple of times and help us out. Lee Restorick as well has done some massive favour and played with us a couple of times. They're just brilliant band, brilliant guys, and the best there is. But, I'd certainly hope we're back out and running by the end of the year. I don't know the way it's going, but we've had a gig for September and November cancelled at the moment, which is frustrating, but you know, it's what it is. While it's as soon as they say it's okay and safe to do so, we'll be back. But it's really frustrating because we were just starting to build up momentum. We were out in Finland in January, and we were going really well, and it's so frustrating that this all caused us problems. But never mind. The Suffragettes, yes, absolutely. I love some of their takes on songs. I love the way they do modern songs and do it in that sort of surf style. Yeah, I think they're brilliant. Really good. Kenneth, the Golden Sea. Do you know what? A lot of people ask me for that. I haven't played it for so long. I will do it one day. I will learn the whole song one day, I promise. But trouble, how you get recorded your guitar through your Zoom and straight to your phone? Yes, it's quite simple, Trouble, really. So I use an iPhone, which is over there at the moment, but I have this little adapter which plugs into my iPhone. This is an older iPhone. Plugs into there, and then you get the USB end, and all I do is plug the Zoom out of there and into here, and then what I hear through the Zoom I record with the video, and just, yeah, that's it. Basically as complicated as it gets. I could also do sometimes this mixer, but it's got needs power to it, but I could use backing tracks and stuff and go straight through my iPhone like that to record a video if I wanted to. But oh dear, what we got? Oh, the Golden Sea, Kenneth. Sorry, Miles. I didn't even see that. The Blue Nebula is quite a strange unit actually, because it's only really echoes. A lot of the Hall's echoes and stuff like that tend to have reverbs and stuff built into them to give them more of an area sort of sound. But the Blue Nebula is recreating the old echo boxes, and they have had quite a few updates and stuff. I haven't tried one for a few years. I did have one. I had a fault with mine which had to go back and be repaired, and once I got it back, by then I'd moved on to the Zoom. But I would love to try one again. I would yeah, definitely love to give one another go and a bit more of time, but at the moment I'm quite happy with the Zoom. Yes, Zoe McCulloch, Graham, you raise a very good... Zoe McCulloch's a fantastic guitar player. I think I don't know what she's doing at the moment, but I think she had some personal issues, but she was with the Crickets, and they were really good. But she's a fantastic player, but I don't know what she's doing at the moment. I think she's still doing a little bit of shadow stuff. I see from time to time, but not as much as she used to do. That's for sure. Right, let's do the Stranger then. When I find the patch. David, this has got Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickups on it. Looks like it's got a raised pole piece on the high E string actually. Yeah, they're staggered definitely, but there we go. Right, The Stranger. There we go, a little bit of The Stranger. But Trouble, I thought I did just give you a tutorial on how to do that. It is quite straightforward, as I say. I'm literally just using my iPhone with this little cable, and I plug the zoom into that, and then I use the camera app on the iPhone and just record, and it picks it up. And there we go. Right, I'm going to do a couple more because it's 11 o'clock and I really need to see about going to bed, I suppose, for a bit of work in the morning. But, I haven't done Atlantis tonight. That's shocking. Let's rectify that straight away. This is Atlantis. go, a little bit of Riders in the Sky. Hope you enjoyed that. As I say, keep an eye on the Facebook page, or the Facebook page, there it is, up there. If you don't already follow me, please do, is appreciated. And yes, it will be next Tuesday again, back to the usual time, 9 o'clock. I think the setup's working as it should be now. We've done 2 hours and 10, so I'll stick with this, so I won't change this setup anymore. I might go to the blue guitar for next week, but a little bit of latency on the video. That's never good. I'll look into that. Yes, certainly. So I am using a Zoom G3X on the floor, and that goes into the Boss Katana 50 Mark 1, which is sitting at the side of me, and that goes into the line out into the desk. A lot of the sound is really in there's a equalizer going on in the Zoom, and that sort of works it out that way really. So it's the EQ is set for each song, so that you basically the amp doesn't actually do a lot apart from amplify and give me a bit more bite. But hopefully that's answered all your questions, and this is dedicated to my dear old dad again. This is The Wonder of You. There we go, King, dedicated to my dear old dad. We played that at his funeral and just after, and yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful song. But I'll answer a quick couple of questions. Wow, greetings from Los Angeles, wonderful. I have tried a humbucker on various guitars, Chapman and Ibanez and stuff like that, but they're just too stacked and too much growl and stuff. I've even tried splitting a humbucker and it just doesn't give the sound as a single coil does, unfortunately. But thank you all for tuning in. As I say, there is a little link down below. Everyone who's donated so far, I think we're up to about £300 so far towards St Francis Hospice. So it really is appreciated. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Tuesday next week, 9 o'clock, back to our new normal time. Now everything's working as it should. In the meantime, stay safe, take care, look after each other. And this is FBI. There we go. Good night all, take care, stay safe. I'll see you all this time next week. Bye for now.